Mechanic Workshop. I'm Harold, and today I got notes. Anyway, I was noticing here the other day that one of my viewers built it, wrote it, wrecked it, has a channel of his own, and he's been making all kind of plastic stuff. He's made rollers for the windows on some kind of a John Deere excavator, and he's been making his own plastic knobs and one thing and another, and it looks to me like he's got it down. You ought to go over to his channel and check it out. And he's got other stuff on there like remote control lawnmowers and things that he's built, which you'll probably find interesting, you know, at least I did. And I've got just 1 minute to say something serious before we get on into doing other things. And we're, say maybe once every now and then, I'm going to bring up an amendment to the Constitution to talk to you about. And I know it's probably this will bore any of you guys that are in some foreign country, but it's a matter of interest to people here in the U.S., I think, at least some people. And that's the First Amendment to the Constitution. Prohibits the making of any law respecting an establishment of religion. No, there's no official government religion. You can't make laws impeding the free exercise of religion, or abridging the freedom of speech, or infringing on the freedom of the press, interfering with the right to peacefully assemble, or prohibiting the petitioning of a governmental redress of grievances. Okay? Now, a lot of that everybody likes, but there are some people, and they were students and probably influenced by professors at some of our major Ivy League schools that were recently talking about, well, maybe suspending the First Amendment because it allowed people to say things that offended other people. Well, hey, you know, if you're going to be a grown-up in this world, people are going to say things you don't like. They may even say them about you. And, you know, instead of getting your feelings hurt, man up about it, or woman up about it, whichever you are, and just, you know, live with it. Because not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody's going to approve of what you do. But there is, amongst these people and their political leaning, the wish to suspend or amend the First Amendment to cut out this ability to say things, you know, cut out the freedom of speech. So this is a pretty important time for you to think about it. All right, enough of the serious stuff. We'll get down to something else. I was watching Darbin Arvar, which is a lady with a woodworking channel, and I saw her building stuff with LEDs, and I thought, well, that's pretty neat. And so I went on eBay, and I found the price of them, and I ordered some. Dirt cheap, and they're easy to make things with. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to put a light under the head of my Grizzly Mill grill. And that part was inspired by Chris B257. He put this little ring of LEDs around his spindle. Well, I didn't find a ring of LEDs that fit around my spindle, but after letting it percolate in the back of my mind for a year or so, it came to me that they don't have to go around the spindle. They could run back and forth on flat spots underneath the head. And then after looking at it, I discovered that there's not enough downward facing flat spots, so I'll wind up having to make a little frame. But I think the whole thing eventually is turning out really great. Alright, so now that I got the air conditioner turned on, it's starting to get kind of hot standing here, starting to sweat some. But you might wonder where I was last week. Well, April and May are the best weather of the year in South Texas. Even if it gets up to 90 in the daytime, the breeze that comes blowing through, the air is still cool and soothing, and you can go outside and it's wonderful. Every place outside is green, and the weather's right, the temperature's right. So I spent last week doing things outside, which is things like going to the range and other things like that. And I didn't work in the shop, and I didn't make a video, and I'm kind of surprised I'm doing it this week. But here I am. I'm going to I'm going back to doing stuff outside just as soon as I get this over with. All right, so I guess we ought to have a word from Bubba, because he's our sponsor in a way. And what happens is Bubba's got a brother named Cooter, and so Cooter come up to Bubba and he said, "Hey Bubba," he says, "you know," he said, "I reckon how y'all need to get you some new curtains at your place." And Bubba says, "Well, why is that, Cooter?" He said, "Well," he says, "you know, I was walking by last night, you know," and he said, "I happened to look in the window and I saw you and Bobby Sue in there, well, you know." And Bubba thought on it a minute there, and he said, "Oh," he says, "Cooter," he says, "you didn't see that." He says, you're all, the joke's on you." He says, "I wasn't even home last night." Okay, we better go and put lights on the grizzly before I get in any trouble here. Well, I got something here. This is several meters, 5 meters of beautiful LEDs. They're nice bright daylight white, and you get them out of here. It's on a reel. A lot of you probably don't know what a Super 8 movie camera is. Excuse me. But there was a reel like this that you kept a whole bunch of your movies spliced together on. And this reel has got LEDs. 5 meters of LEDs. And I'll show you a little something about them here in just a second. Once I get it set up, I'm going to turn you off right now and plug these things in, or get ready to. So, like this says, LED strip lights direct from China, and a reel of LED lights. Isn't that beautiful? Huh? And it's bright, and it's just great, huh? So what am I going to do with this? Well, I'm going to mount these little suckers on my mill so that I can see really great. And we're going to learn a little bit here about fooling around with your own LED lights. The lights and the power supply together ran me about $20. Hang on. Here's the power supply, plain old 12 volt, 2 amp power supply. One end of it you plug in the wall. The other end you plug into the LED strip. And all these neat little things here. I'm sure somebody's wondering, hey, what's that idiot doing that thing there? This right here is the little connector that goes on cuts you make in this strip. Now what we're going to do here is I'm going to put on my cheaters to make sure that I can see what you see. I'm going to show you what you can do with these things is reel these suckers off just like tape. And in fact, these are supposed to be waterproof, and they've got a contact sensitive tape on the back of them. You can see the little peel off thing here. If you want to make something out of these, you just reel off however many feet that you want, and then you take a pair of scissors, and I'm going to make sure I zoom in on this really good where you can see it good. See if this thing will zoom that good. Yeah, it likes to zoom when things are further off, but right here you see this mark where these 4 little brass pieces are, and you see the little scissors symbol. That's where you cut the thing at, and when you cut it you can solder wires to it, or you can clamp one of these little boogers on it. You can use these to put pieces together. But this thing here, I'm going to change the direction to go out and come back and so on. So that's why I got these guys. So it'd be real easy to just clip on and change the directions. So I guess our next step will be to go out to the mill, clean all the grease and gunk and crud out from under the head of it, because that's where they're going to go. And when I'm reasonably sure it's clean enough, we'll measure how long a strip these we want. We'll cut it to length, and we'll run them back and forth under that mill head until we get enough light to blind even a blind guy, huh? Okay. Next time I see you, we'll be out in the garage. Well, looking up under there, it's obvious there's just not enough flat area for me to stick the LEDs to. So I think the next step for me to do here is to make my own flat area. So that's what we're going to do over here. Sorry about that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little H framework, stick a piece up in that hole, and we're going to stick the LEDs to this. I tried doing it with my propane torch, but it really wasn't hot enough to do anything. So I'm going to move this over the other vise and use the acetylene. I often like to work on this TV tray or on my reloading table because it's nice and convenient to where I keep my soldering iron. Now we're going to cut this little booger as close to dead on that line as I can. What with me looking through that going to wind up plastic. Next we're going to have to take this thing. We're going to get in the range of the camera, wherever that is. There we go. Now then I've got to peel off the plastic right here. I'm not sure how much of this I can get in the camera and how much I won't, but I'm going to take a knife and try to peel the protective layer off right here. And I hope I got close enough to the cut line. Alright, I didn't take video of very much of this construction because I consistently hooked the wires up backwards probably 6 or 7 times. I know 4 or 5 anyway. And I didn't want to include all the, the swearing and carrying on, this being a family channel and all. But when I finally figured out what I was doing wrong, well, then I got the wires to stick, and that's the result. Of course, Bozo helped me some, and I cut off a couple of inches of the wrong, stupid side when I was trying to clean things up. So I'm a couple of LEDs shorter than what I would have had, but it still should be plenty bright. Next step is to go out and stick the thing underneath the grizzly head there. I went ahead and turn that off and used some double-sided tape that I had in the garage because the stuff that comes on the back there is not very impressive. I figured it would fall off in no time, and then being a belt and suspenders kind of guy, I put tie wraps on it right along with the double-sided tape. There weren't enough downward facing flat spaces underneath here to put the LEDs running along on there. I mean, here's a little bit of flat space here and so on, but I wanted more LEDs than that. And it turns out there's a nice hole there, and each side of the hole has got a lip that bends over like that. So I made this little frame, and when I put it up there, it's going to have this little piece right here. That this piece is going to hold up across the little place in there, and hopefully it'll hold my lights up. So without getting any further into this, we're going to put the thing on there, and I'm going to turn off the camera while I bolt it in there because you can't see much anyway. This is how things look. This is the light level right now before I put the LEDs on, but you might ought to see that. And here we are with the LEDs. I can't say for sure that that's a really big improvement, but it does seem to be a bit brighter under there. I'll move the camera around and give you another shot of it. That's the way it looks up under there. They're strung across that. And one of the things I overlooked was putting an on-off switch on there. I got to plug it in and unplug it. But if I think that the light is a really good help, I will add a switch and maybe another couple of feet of lights. I don't know. We'll see what we see. And that's I guess that's pretty much of a wrap for today. That'll be all she wrote. Appreciate y'all watching. Y'all come back, and maybe you could subscribe I'm gonna leave you a couple of minutes here with a shot of something, just human interest stuff. All right, you see this little refrigerator here? I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Just to the right of the little blue light, you see that brown box on the shelf? That's a box of oatmeal cookies. In fact, raisin oatmeal cookies. And I want to get one out of there, but I don't want to share it. And there's somebody around here that insists on me sharing it. So what you guys going to do, you're going to keep watch for me while I try to get a cookie. All right, now if you see any sign of the walking gut, shout out. Yeah, looks like we did it. I got it. Oh, oh, wait, you didn't warn me. There it is right there, the walking gut. She heard me get that cookie and she wants her share. What do you want, dog? Hmm? What do you want? Is there something you want? Hmm? Dogs aren't supposed to eat cookies. You want a cookie? Hmm? Yeah. That's what I was afraid of. You wanted my cookie, didn't you? It's not me you like. It's the cookie. Yep. I'm not what she likes. It's the cookie. That's what it is.